It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
Directed
right, he'd be the perfect guy. He'd be the perfect guy to do that.
And when he died, he was like, he was on some deathbed confessional type shit. He told his assistant, he said, on his deathbed, according to her, he said, the fake alien invasion is coming. Like, the fake alien invasion is what they've been planning. That's what's going to scare everybody into a one world government. It's always been about a one world government, and the fake alien invasion, that'll get everybody together. Everybody will volunteer. We got to, the aliens are going to kill us. We got to all unite.
Yeah.
So that's been the plan, the fake. And that's what Wernher von Braun said. And on his tombstone.
The strategy that Wernher von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now, at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over, during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens, and all of it, he said, is a lie.
On his tombstone, it has a psalm, whatever, like Psalm 8. I don't know, like the Bible verses, but it's a particular psalm in the Bible that talks about
cylindrical shaped, and if they were to break, some of the forces would likely throw a piece of that right in our atmosphere, and so they know this. They also know that with every object that travels in space, clusters travel with it. 2 or 3 objects that are normally not tracked, but are like large pieces of debris around it, in which case we have aerial bursts. And of course, we know how powerful those can be. Because the one in Russia was felt, it was a few miles in radius, and it was a pretty big impact, but it didn't hit anything. That was an aerial burst. We'll see more of those. A lot of people know we're going to see more and more aerial bursts, and they're going to become so common, yet so fearful for most people that it's going to be one of those elements that we really have to condition ourselves to survive on a day-to-day basis, because they know that this debris issue that we're going to have is going to be a real issue. September 1st, but even before that, there are so many unknown objects that passes each and every day that even right now, statistically, there was a conversation that we should have some aerial bursts take place within the next few weeks, because we've gone a long time without, we've gone 2 weeks or a week without something crashing into Earth, and there are folks who track those numbers to see what the chances are of something hitting a landmass or the ocean, lots of them going to the ocean, but we're kind of overdue for something to hit land or aerial burst, and specifically due to what they're seeing in space, because they can see large clusters right now. They can see very cold objects, as they would be far away from the sun, but they're inbound, no doubt, and they know about it, which is why they're rushing all these space plans to get up there in a hurry.
Let me ask you a question. Do they have any, I don't know if this is possible, but do they have, let's say, for instance, September 1st asteroid, let's say it does something, as it goes by, it does break something off. There's companion, what we call companion smaller asteroid or smaller rocks that travel usually behind a bigger rock that could be sucked in through gravity or whatever. But let's say something breaks off of it and it does come into our atmosphere, and we do have an explosion in the atmosphere. Do we know where in the world that could happen? And we don't know if it's going to hit Nebraska or Tokyo or Florida or New York, do we? I mean, is there any way to know?
Well, that's a calculation. That's based upon its inbound trajectory. Whether it's in the northern or southern hemisphere rotation of the Earth, and then you calculate probabilities from there. They can have a pretty good idea of an impact zone within hours of it approaching. If they see it far enough out, if they don't see it far enough out, we're going to have to. That's where AI comes in, or some of the satellite systems that we have for early warning systems, and they will detect, calculate, and then give a warning in kind. So, but a lot of this equipment, although it does see it, some of the warnings were coming back so slow that it had already passed or impacted, and there was just not enough time to alert people.
So it sounds like people are going to have to trust more in being sheltered by the Lord. You can't really drive to and hide in a mountain in Tennessee or something. I mean, or the Colorado Rockies. I mean, people are just going to need to relax because there's so many clusters. Mike, you're talking about clusters. It's going to become daily, isn't it?
Yeah, it will eventually be a daily thing. Very dangerous too. In fact, the number of inbounds has increased since the beginning of this year, and it will continue to do so because we're entering into.
As it traveled closer to Earth, images showed it to be cigar-shaped, and it had a red color in a similar way to the objects from the outer reaches of the solar system. Quite where it came from, how many others there may be like it, and how long it has been traveling before it reached us isn't known. But what scientists learn from Oumuamua will almost certainly inform how they study the next object like it that passes by.
Арабов, ты совсем уже?
Лера, посмотри в окно!
Что?
В окно посмотри.
Что это?
Приготовиться к столкновению. Приготовиться к столкновению.
страшно.
Почему на сообщение не отвечала? Руку давай. Арабова, слушай! Послушай, запомни, что бы ни случилось, мы должны держаться вместе. Вместе, поняла? Отходи!
Миша!
Сама ведь засунет куда-нибудь, а виноват Рома!
Да.
Рома!
Я их просто раз вообще в холодильнике нашла. Вот что они там делают?
Вы кто?
О, жила, слава богу.
Ой, это ты кошку нашу Мусю благодари. Она у нас лечебная, потому что она вот так потопчется, и все проходит. Скажи, Рома.
Держитесь!
Муся, где моя кошка? Где кошка?
Все, успокойся, Таня, успокойся.
Дорогой мой. Что делается-то, Рома?
Все, успокойся, Танечка, успокойся, все будет нормально.
Очень страшно, Рома.
Все, успокойся, Таня, все.
Рома!
Спокойно! Спокойно! Без паники! Спокойно! Черт! Выходите из машины! Быстро выходите! Выходите. Таня!
Муся!
Оставь Мусю!
Мусечка! Пожалуйста, уходите!
Space right now, very different parts of space that we haven't seen in a long time. Some suggest possibly, this is one of those 24,000-year cycles or 12,000-year cycles. And but either way, it's a brand new area of space. We've not dealt with this type of inbound debris ever, and it's the first of its kind.
Mike, also today there was some rockets that were fired. Apparently, according to reports we're getting, the United States Space Force fired they released 4 secret satellites into space. Do you have any idea what this may be and what type categories?
Well, they have, they're working up to launching 2 pretty large spacecrafts. I hope that everybody's aware of that. They actually have 2 large spacecraft. I mean, when I say large, I mean large spacecraft. And they are working up to launching those within a, 10-month time period. So we're going to have some things in orbit that spacecraft, actual huge space ships, the space battleships, whatever you want to call them, they're going to be up there. Right now they're busy doing pressure tests and integrity tests. One of the ships was actually, one of the practice holes was actually displayed in view of all people, and that was last year, I believe it was, 2017 till now. But they have two of them that they've been working on. They're going to launch those within the next probably 10 months. They're going to be in space. They're going to have to, because everything in the atmosphere is changing. So they're going to have to. You're going to see quite a few launches from SpaceX. Some will be successful, some will not. But you're going to see quite a few. And yes, they are on a regular schedule here with the launches that they're launching quite a few things in space. Before that Space Force is active, this section of the Space Force, I should say, there's going to be a type of infrastructure up there. There's something heating up in the atmosphere. We're not talking about heat that you can touch, but activity, so to speak. And that's indigenous activity and otherwise. But you also have other countries like Russia who are really focused concerning space, and they have quite a few missile platforms. In fact, a lot of people didn't think that Star Wars went anywhere. This is your moment to go and investigate Star Wars by searching for the missile platforms that are being upgraded right now in space. So they've been up there. Lots of info is just out there for folks to see what's actually going on. So
When you are serving God, you're not a part of no secret society.
No.
No secret order.
No. That's right.
No Masons.
That's right.
No Elks. No Illuminati.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
We don't bow to owls.
Go ahead, man.
Elephants.
Amen.
And imagery.
Yeah.
We bow to God.
That's right. One true God. Go ahead, man.
How can you be a member of the Illuminati and then gonna say, thank God? You's a liar.
Amen.
The Illuminati is a cult.
Amen.
All that are in it are satanic.
Go ahead.
You're cult followers.
Go ahead, brother.
I don't care if you are millionaires, if you are pop artists. There is no God but one.
Amen. Go ahead, brother.
Just one.
Amen.
You can't be a preacher and be in the Illuminati. You can't be a preacher and be a Mason.
Go ahead.
You can't.
What agreement had the temple of God with idols?
How in the world you's a deacon?
Amen.
And you with the Illuminati? Talk back to me, man. Am I right?
Go ahead. What fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness?
These rappers, entertainers,
Go ahead.
multi-millionaire hoes,
Go ahead, brother.
part of the Illuminati.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. Make it strong.
There's only one we should bow to.
Go ahead.
Paganism have no place.
No place.
In God.
Amen.
You preachers that's part of this cult, you don't represent God.
No, no.
We should be what God is.
That's right.
Jesus was not in the Illuminati.
No.